Hi everybody and welcome back to F1 Manager 2022, where we are Aston Martin and we are keeping pace just about in front of AlphaTauri. I was going to say with the leaders. That's a lie. They are over 100 points ahead of us, 121 points behind Mercedes we are, so it's going to be quite a push to get into the top three, but you know, every time we're sitting fourth, that is a massive improvement for us at Aston Martin, and both drivers are doing pretty well. We've got the French Grand Prix coming up. There isn't too much else to discuss really. Everything's going pretty well. We're going to get one driver into Q3, we're going to get two drivers into Q2, I will confirm you that much. And what do we want? The fastest lap? No, we won't commit to the fastest lap. And we're on a qualifying position streak and efficient finish position streak as well. There we good. You're all caught up. I'll do practice. See you at qualifying. So practice 1, 2 and 3 have gone very, very well indeed. Absolutely no issues for the Aston Martin teams. And we are in a very good position right now, which I'm very happy about. 69.71. Engine number 1 goes in Fernando Alonso's car. ERS number 2 goes into Alonso's car. We might have to take some new engine bits pretty soon. 79%, 78%, 79% can go in the car, and there we go. Excuse me. All right, 100% confidence for Fernando Alonso, which is wonderful. 100% for Zhou as well. So the first time in a while, I think we've got 100 and 100 on both drivers. So engine 6 goes into Zhou's car. The ERS, I was clicking on the wrong thing. ERS 3 goes into Zhou's car, and the gearbox, I think we're on 7. Yeah, let's put gearbox number 7 in, just to make sure we've got the best car parts possible. Right, we are all ready for qualifying, so let's get into it. So into qualifying we go. We're not going to send them out early. We're going to wait. We're going to wait a little while and just see when. See, no one's really. Everyone's playing the patient game. No one's going out early doors just yet. There goes the first couple of people, Vettel and Carlos Sainz, followed by Pierre Gasly. Okay, some people just trying to get a little bit of space, so we're going to send out Zhou there. He should have some space after these guys catch up on their fast laps, and then we're going to go out after Pierre Gasly, just there, just in front. We want to try them with a bit of fresh air in front of them. So Zhou's going to start his quick lap, and Alonso will be starting his soon. So let's see where Zhou ends on the timing ladder. Up into 6th at the moment, which is pretty good, and Alonso goes up into 5th, so not too bad. Alonso drops down to 6th, Zhou into 10th, so we're in a pretty good position. We'll put the same set of softs on for another lap. We should be safe, really, with those times already, maybe. I mean, we've got a lot of people that haven't set a time, but I'm still expecting us. I'm expecting us to get to not be in the bottom 5. It'd be quite dramatic, I think, if we were in the bottom 5. So we just need to time this right again. So 3 minutes is coming up. Yeah, there you go. Everyone starts going out at around 3 minutes. So we're going to try and get out at the back. So we'll send Zhou with there and Alonso there. And we're going to have K-Mag behind us. So we're not going to be last. I'm going to skip. We're going to do Q1 pretty quick because I'm expecting us to get through pretty comfortably now with how our car is performing. So everyone's starting their quick laps now. Bottas improves. Some people improve. Some don't. Yep, I know you need to refuel. You really need to change that. And you as well. Let's keep going. So Alonso's through and Zhou is through. Both of them. Alonso 9th, Zhou 14th. So not the best, but he gets through. And that's all that really matters, to be honest. Let's put those U's set on again just to set a banker time for both drivers. And then we'll get the new set out for Q2. Or, well, the second lap in Q2, and in Q2 we're actually going to send these guys out pretty sharpish so that they get some clean air in front of them, and both drivers here are going to have clean air, which is absolutely awesome for their first lap. Well, they might not, because they might get caught up in some of the other drivers coming out who should get out the way. So what we can do is set that banker lap though. And it's not, well, I'll say it's not bad. It was actually Stroll that got in front of us, so it was pretty bad, to be honest. Right, Guan Yu Zhou, reconfigure, new softs, confirm. Reconfigure, new softs, confirm. Right, and then we just play the waiting game. We go and set our fastest laps at the end of this one. 2 minutes 20, I think we went out last time, so we'll aim for that sort of time again. Well, I feel like this is always the time. I feel like you could easily set another lap now and no one's going to get in the way. I mean, but I also don't want to risk it. I don't want to risk it. That's the key, isn't it? That's the problem. So we're getting into the 3 minute mark when people start going out. So We're going to give it a bit of time there, and hopefully both of our drivers will have enough time to get round. They should be fine. They should be fine for this one. Yeah, they're going to have plenty of time. So let's jump on board to the TV cameras and watch Fernando Alonso go far too quickly in 2x speed, as they need to set some good times. We need to see green sectors across the board here. A lot of Verstappen didn't go faster. Bottas, everyone's gone faster in Sector 1 at the moment. So we need our guys to show some good speed, because at the moment we're the bottom two, having set that time on used soft tyres. So Alonso does set a green Sector 1. Guan Yu Zhou sets a green Sector 1. That's what we need to see. We were sort of sandbagging a little bit in the first run of this qualifying session with our old tyres on. But we're going to have some drivers crossing the line in a minute. So Stroll crosses the line. We've got Vettel coming across pretty soon. We've got both Ferraris, I think, actually just about to cross the line. So there's Carlos Sainz. And Carlos Sainz, Leclerc stays third. Sainz stays, or jumps up into fourth. Stroll crosses the line and he's already out. So Lance Stroll not having a very good time of it. Sebastian Vettel crosses the line. He jumps up into 8th. Norris behind him goes 10th. Ricciardo is 11th. So, yeah, people are not massively improving. It's the same sort of people you should see. Norris has actually gone up to 10th now. Gasly is at risk. Gasly is there in 10th. Bottas up there as well. Alonso will be coming in for the finish line pretty soon. What can he do? Fernando Alonso is just going to cross the line. It's going to be a fully best lap, as you would expect. Is it enough to get him out? Yes, it is. Up to 7th for Fernando Alonso. And Guan Yu Zhou puts his time in, only 13th for Guan Yu Zhou. So Fernando Alonso again outperforming his teammate. But I'm happy. I don't mind that at all. Starting 13th and somewhere in the top 10 is absolutely lovely. Guan Yu Zhou, he's not as good. He's just not as good as driver as Alonso. He's 3/10 off the pace. So I think that's pretty acceptable for the differences of experience and levels they are. So Fernando Alonso does have a new set, but again we're going to go out on the old set first. That's going to be our banker lap set on the old tyres, which I'm hoping will be pretty good. We are going to send Fernando Alonso out again as the first runner, hopefully, and he is right in front of everyone else who's going to come out. So Alonso will set his banker lap with absolutely no one in front of him, completely clean air, although he is on used soft tyres. So he'll set that lap, and that will be a 1:31, and as you can see, he'll be quite far off. Oh, he's only, wow, he's what, 1/10 off the pace of Ocon, and we've set that on used tyres. So I'm sort of thinking we're in a decent position at the moment to go and get this, go and get a decent time. What did we finish? 7th, didn't we? We qualified 7th in the first sort of period. So we've got loads. Everyone's going out so early. I don't want to be left behind and get caught sort of behind them when they're doing their cool down lap. So we're going to send Alonso out. He's got plenty of time and plenty of space in front of him as well. So here goes Fernando Alonso starting his final qualifying lap in Q3, and I'm hoping that we are going to be enough. I think if we could push top 5, that would be amazing. But if you look at it at the moment, double Red Bull, double Ferrari, double Mercedes, both Alpines getting through as well. I don't think we've seen that for a while. Bottas is the sort of rogue one in there. Us and Bottas are sort of rogue. But yeah, I'm hoping that we can set a good time on these fresh softs. It's a green Sector 1 for Fernando Alonso, which is absolutely epic. And that's what we need him to do. And he's still going to be flying down this straight with the DRS open. How is everyone else? So we've got a few people going to cross the line at the moment. So one of the Red Bulls is just about to cross. And that was Charles Leclerc. Oh no, because the Red Bulls and Sainz have obviously just finished before the checkered flag came out. So Leclerc stays 4th. Ocon stays 9th. Bottas stays 7th. So if we can find 2/10 here, we're going to be up above Bottas. And the fact that we've set 2 best sectors suggests to me that we may have that time in the bank. And if Russell doesn't improve, there could also be the chance of catching George Russell here, as both Mercedes are now just about to cross the line as we stick watching Fernando Alonso. Russell doesn't improve, 0.9. Hamilton doesn't improve. So they must have all been on used soft tyres, as Alonso is going to come round the final few corners What can he get done in these corners? He's going to try and come to the line. Go on, get across and improve. What have you got? 1.24 was what he was off the leader to start with. He crosses it. It's a all green sector, so it's 8th. He doesn't... Oh, it's 1/1000th of a second behind Valtteri Bottas. So a good session. We'll be starting 8th and 13th. Okay, so we know we're starting 8th and 13th. I think one stopper is probably the way to go. I'd like to finish on a softer compound. The thing is, we don't have a good set of softs left. We've used them all up in qualifying. So unless we do a medium, I'd rather... What do I want to do? I sort of want to push the hards and push the mediums. I don't think that's going to be at all possible, though. So if we end on the mediums, it's going to be with a certain strategy. So maybe we do start... So everyone's going to be doing a one-stopper. What is the chances of a safety car? That is what I'm very interested. Safety car 50%. So we can't be banking on a safety car. So maybe we just go simple strategies here. Medium to hard to medium. Or we'll go medium to hard. Most people will probably do medium to hard. So we could match that and pit early for the sort of undercut, knowing that our hards will give out a little bit at the end. I think we're going to go for that for Alonso. A pretty standard strategy there. And then with Guan Yu Zhou, I'm just thinking if we could potentially drag those hards out. Start on the hards with Guan Yu Zhou. Finish a bit quicker on the softs. Yeah, let's go for that. Let's go for that. So it's going to be medium to hard for Alonso, hard to soft for Guan Yu Zhou. Fuel, I think we'll just leave it as it is. I don't think we need to overfuel the car. We've been pretty good. There probably will be yellow flags and stuff that will slow people down. So, as ever, we'll just push everything from the off just to try and get a couple of positions on the first lap and see if that can have a hand. But yeah, it's... or do we do... Oh, I'll tell you what I'm tempted to do with Zhou. Here. I am tempted to do a two-stopper here. Push those reasonably hard. Get the mediums out. Get onto a fresh set of softs. And try and finish the race on the soft tyre. I think will be best to actually push the soft at the end, right? So medium, soft, push those softs. How much do we need to get those mediums in line to make it work? No, that's too much of a risk. I don't want to do that. So we're going to go push the mediums at the beginning to about there. Get on those mediums and then get on those softs. That is what we're going to go for, I think. So it's going to be risky. But we're going to ask Guan Yu Zhou to really push it on some softer tyres. And if a safety car comes, he could be in a good position to change strategies onto the hards. So we're ready for the French Grand Prix then. The Paul Ricard circuit. And it's a double Red Bull front row, then double Ferrari, then double Mercedes. And there you've got Fernando Alonso, who's going to look to take Valtteri Bottas very early on here. And we've basically fueled the car perfectly, so we will have a bit of not resigning, that's not what I want to do, saving, having to do in the future. But at the moment there's no real movement from the off. Guan Yu Zhou's back up into 13th. What have we got? We've got some people starting on hards, mediums. Zhou's the only one on soft, so it's going to be a medium to hard and a hard to medium sort of race. And Guan Yu Zhou's going to be doing his two-stop, so he's the one that's really going to have to make up a lot of time here. As Guan Yu Zhou back into 13th. Alonso trying to get past Bottas. Can't quite make it work. These two having a bit of a ding-dong battle here. It shows how even the cars are, even when we're deploying our battery and pushing a bit of fuel as we're looking to get on the inside. But Bottas will have it again on this side. Then we'll have it. Can Fernando Alonso make that stick? Yes, he can. And I think for now, we're just going to tell him to conserve that fuel. We're going to do the whole lap with pushing the tyres and deploying and then see where we end up. So 7th, he's trying to get on the back of Russell. Zhou up to 12th, right on the back of Pierre Gasly. He's got to make these tyres have as much good speed out of them as possible early on in this race. That is what Guan Yu Zhou has got to do. He's on the soft tyre, which should give him more grip and more speed. As Alonso already losing a bit of time there to the car in front of George Russell. So we'll get him to ease off already. And we'll keep him on deploy just to try and get him into that zone. As Zhou on the back of Gasly pulls out and tries to go for the move. And I think we'll get you onto your standard tyre degradation already. And the thing with France is that it's not the easiest to overtake. Yes, it's got a massive DRS straight, but it's not ideal in terms of lots of changing places. But Zhou is up now to 11th, so he's near the points already. But as we said, he's the one that's got to make the strategy work on that two-stop Although if we can get these softs there, I'm not against putting them onto a one-stop if it makes sense. So Zhou overtook Bottas here on the outside, just again into this little sort of right-hander, left-hander, right-hander. Made it stick though, which was good, got past, and now he's battling with both Alpines just ahead of him. Although he's driving very, very close going into that corner. And we go back to the race. The pit crew are very happy with that. Oh, Zhou, what is off? What's going on? So Zhou, he was going around the side of the Alpine. And he's just locked up and he's hit the Alpine as well. That is not ideal. After making a really good move on Bottas, he's gone aggressive. He's back onto the circuit. He's got a time penalty as well. And he's got major front wing damage. So he's going to have to come in. We're going to, very early on, have to change his strategy. Right, we need to think about this. Because I think, has he just gone past the pit bit as well? It's a yellow flag. Oh, Zhou. Right. I think we just put you straight onto those hards then. And we drag those out to there and then go on to the softs at the end. I think that's what we've got to do. Like that. So you're going to come in and pit right now. Pit options onto hards. We also need to change your front wing. Pit this lap. It's really going to hurt you, Zhou. Yeah, and he's just got past the pits as well. So I guess what we'll do is get him to really push on those tyres for now. And he's got a 5-second time penalty. So he's going to be right at the back. So our focus can shift to Fernando Alonso, who is up into 6th. He's got one of the Mercedes in Lewis Hamilton. And, yeah, well, we took Ocon out. And Ocon's gone right to the back of the queue. So, yeah, Zhou's going to have to get this car all the way around without... Well, I think he doesn't have a front wing. Yeah, look at that damage on his front wing. He's got basically half a front wing. And he's got 2 Williams on his tail, which is never fun. But he's going to come out right at the back of the race. He's going to be about 5 seconds behind Esteban Ocon, which just is not ideal for Guan Yu Zhou. He's yeah, he's been letting himself down. Although Alonso's right up here in the battle, which is absolutely lovely. Pushing his tyres a little bit harder than everyone else, but we know he can make those hards last when he changes onto them. So we could potentially get him into deploy in a minute and see if we can just overtake these guys. And then what do we sit? We could sit behind them actually. Now let's sit behind them, make these tyres last a bit longer. Yeah, let's make these... Oh, that Ferrari's gone wide. Leclerc looked like he went very, very wide there. Both drivers missing the accident, which is good. Zhou is losing out to both Williams, as you would expect, but he is coming into pit because of that damage to his front wing. So, Fernando Alonso sitting nicely behind these much bigger boys, let's call them, at the back at the moment. Oh, now he's got the DRS. Well, as we're going through this bit, we can just ease off nicely because he's going to keep pace with them in terms of DRS. Ocon comes into pit, which means Zhou isn't going to be far behind him either. And I just need to keep an eye on Alonso, make sure he doesn't drop out of DRS while we're harvesting, conserving and saving a bit of tyre wear, because he will go a lot slower at the moment, as Zhou is still making his way round to the pits. He's done another lap. He was meant to be pitting that lap. Car parts. Front wing. Has he pitted already? No, he's still on the soft tyre. Why has he started another lap? What a moron. Oh, Zhou, you idiot. You idiot. Right, Alonso is still keeping pace, which is great. That's all we need him to do. Where's Hamilton gone? Oh, Hamilton's jumped everyone. He's gone back up to 5th. Okay. But for now, yeah, we're going to be in a good position at the moment with Fernando Alonso. This is where he'll drop off a little bit of the pace, but if we can extend these tyres out, then that is very nice indeed. Right, Guan Yu Zhou, please come into pit this time. You're so far... I mean, he's 29 seconds off. If it was later on in the race, I would definitely retire the car and save the engine components. But for now, we're focusing on Fernando Alonso, and Guan Yu Zhou's just going to have to do his sort of own sort of race, to be honest. As they're still battling up front, I think we can get this all back onto where it should be. See if we can get in, because we have dropped off that second. So let's just deploy a little bit, get us back into that range, because we're not going to have DRS on this lap. We're not, if they keep battling, we're not going to be far off getting DRS again. Right, Zhou does come into pit this time, so we will do the classic and watch his pit as he drops all the way. Well, Ocon's 30 seconds off at the moment, so just quickly look back at Alonso, who is now back in DRS range, which is lovely to see. Guan Yu Zhou then, new front wing, hard tyres going on. This is his time penalty, so that centre penalty is going to be done now. They can change the tyres. There'll be a bit of a pause while it pretends to change the front wing. And I think, surely Ocon is going to part. If he comes out in front of Ocon, that is an absolute travesty for Ocon. I think Ocon's just about to go and get him. But where is Alonso then? Back in DRS of the two drivers in front of him, which is good as they're battling away. We've saved some tyres, saved some fuel in all of that as well. And yeah, not too bad at all. Right, Zhou is exiting the pit lane. He's got to make those tyres last basically as long as he can. So he's just now managing his own race. Again, a safety car comes out. It's absolute wonderland for Zhou. It's absolutely brilliant because he's already on a fresh set of tyres. So Fernando Alonso is doing a wonderful job here of keeping up with these guys in front, which you just love to see, to be honest. You absolutely love it. Where are we on the track? Yeah, so we could... Well, we don't need to harvest up because we've done our max harvesting for this lap. But Gasly's 2 seconds behind, so Alonso really is keeping pace with these front runners at the moment. And yeah, absolutely love to see it, to be honest. Let's go into a bit of harvest. Fuel's fine. I'm going to assume Alonso's going to... Look at that. Yeah, he's going to have quite a bit of tyre wear left to drag out, which is good. Which is very, very good for Fernando Alonso as we continue to harvest up in this lap as Charles Leclerc and Hamilton still battling away. And, well, Alonso's just more than happy to just see this one through, really. Just carrying on as his medium tyres seem to be doing him pretty well. How's everyone's hards doing? So our mediums aren't too far off everyone else. We did go for that earlier bit of a push stint, which we can go back to as well if we want a bit more pace. At the moment we don't have to. Ocon and Zhou both onto fresh hard tyres after their little incident, but these two battling away. I don't mind as long as they pull us along. That's all I really worry about, to be honest. Just getting pulled along at this point. The longer we can drag out these mediums and have some pace if people come into pit, the better we have it. So yeah, we're in a really good position getting pulled along by Leclerc and Hamilton at the moment. It's not Guan Yu Zhou's race today. He's just run wide as well, right from the back. He's literally staying out hoping for a safety car. That is all he's doing. The only other thing is that if he... Now this could be very stupid because I know he's going to get lapped a lot. If he completely saves those tyres, right, he could make it to the end. But there's just absolutely no point in doing that. We'll keep him doing what he's doing. He'll come in for another pit stop later. He probably won't even catch people up after he's been in the pits. I mean, he's 33 seconds off Michael Schumacher. So, yeah, it's going to be tough for him. It's going to be a tough old race for Guan Yu Zhou right now. He is desperate for a safety car to bunch everyone back up. That is what he needs to happen. But so far, he's the only person that's caused a crash and run wide. So if it's going to be a safety car, it's more likely because he's going to cause it and he won't be in the race anymore. But what can you do? So Fernando's just lost a little bit of pace. These guys have sort of been pulling each other a bit further away in a DRS train. They've all been overtaking each other. So I'm happy for Fernando just to leave it as it is. He's entered his pit window, but we're going to be able to extend these hard mediums out. I'll get there eventually. These mediums out by quite some way. So I think we're going to go with that, which hopefully means if we can... Where do we have to get them to push those hards at the end a little bit more? Got to get them quite far, haven't we? We're going to go for that at the moment and see if Fernando can basically do nearly half the race on these mediums and then go on to the hard tyre. So, Fernando, if you can make that work, that would be absolutely epic, because what we're actually going to be doing then is not pushing them. Yeah, it should do it, and he's got a little bit of life to play with as well. So 2 seconds off, but a 6-second gap to Vettel behind him. I don't think the others are going to come into pit either. Not really many people have been eating their tyres up too much in France. It's not too bad on the old tyres. Okay, so Verstappen has come into pit. So some of the front runners now are pitting, and it's probably the medium runners. Sainz takes the lead at the moment of the Grand Prix. Alonso's still dragging these mediums out. He's sort of back on that line now, so he should be able to do it, allowing us to push a little bit harder at the end. I'm sort of thinking with Zhou, what we could now do, just to give him a fighting chance, is to get him onto a set of mediums there so that he's at least on a faster tyre. Let's go for that. So we'll bring you onto that strategy now, so you can now push those tyres a little bit more. But our main focus is on Alonso at the moment. As you can see, he's quite a way off. He's now nearly 6 seconds off. Bottas 4 seconds behind us. So what we want, though, is when when Sainz and Russell come into pit, that's when we need to push really hard. They're the sort of people that we're going to be trying to overtake. It's going to be risky. I mean, we can push on those hards afterwards, which is the advantage of changing our strategy a little bit. Okay, so Russell is pitting, so we're going to deploy our battery. We're going to push our fuel. We could come in 1 or 2 laps, maybe 1 lap earlier than we planned. So we can't push the tyres just yet, but this is where we need to make our time up on George Russell, really. We need to close that gap so that when we go onto our hard tyres, we're in a good position to be battling him. Okay, so we extended the gap to Gasly behind and that group behind to 5.7. He's rinsed his battery, which was obviously going to happen, and a bit of fuel as well. We've entered the pit window, so we've got, a couple of laps to get onto those hard tyres, and then we're in a good position. At the moment, we're sort of nailed on for 4th if everything goes well. I think we're a bit too far off the leaders to make any move up there. I say 4th because obviously Verstappen is back here, and I'm hoping that we'll pit. Well, no, I guess it's going to be like 6th or 7th actually, isn't it? It's going to be 6th or 7th, but I'm hoping that staying out on these mediums and then pushing the hards will give us more pace at the end when everyone else is going a little bit slower. So here comes Alonso into the pits then, onto these hard tyres that he's going to see through to the end of the race. There goes Carlos Sainz. Bottas, have all these people pitted? No, see, Bottas, Gasly all need to pit. Norris, Ricciardo, all of these guys will need to pit. Leclerc, Hamilton and Perez all need to pit as well, but they are quite far ahead of us. As the fresh hard tyres go on, 2.6 seconds, a decent stop there for Fernando Alonso. So he's in a good position. Zhou's not far off his pit stop, but he's so far behind everyone. It literally is just waiting on a safety car for him. So yeah, let's see how this goes. Fernando Alonso comes out. He's going to be just behind Vettel. Oh, that was dangerous there, fighting with K-Mag, but he's out. And we know that he can run on slightly aggressive to try and make some time up, which is good and bad, right? He's going to come out on fresh tyres. He's going to be quicker on those tyres. It's sort of like, do we even push the tyres? Do we wait to see where naturally come out, or do we want track position? No, I want track position. Okay, so Guan Yu Zhou has done his pit stop onto his medium tyres, so he'll be on a slightly faster tyre until the end, which is good. I was just looking there at his running. He was so far over his hard tyre prediction. Oh, it's because we changed it, didn't we, to come and pit here. Yeah, so it'll update the strategy. Okay, anyway, back to Alonso. He's climbed up to 14th. Lots of people in front of him still need to pit. Hulkenberg, Albon, Stroll, Norris, Ricciardo, Gasly, Bottas, Hamilton and Leclerc and Perez all need to pit. Not that I think we're battling with that lead group, but he's put himself into a decent enough position at the moment. So it's all about when these other guys come and pit. And talk of the devil, there we go. Ricciardo, Hulkenberg, Perez has come in, pitted, done his stop and got out very, very quickly indeed. Alonso is now climbing up to 12th, so we know we've still got other people in front of us to pit as well, as Vettel continues on this fight with Fernando Alonso. I'm just going to save a little bit of tyre potentially for the end of the race here. I think that would be pretty useful. So Zhou is a long, long way back, which is a little bit irritating. Has Norris pitted? No, Norris, Bottas and Gasly haven't pitted yet. And they are not too far in front of us. We should catch all of them in the pit stop window. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting last half of the race. And Leclerc and Hamilton pitting as well, so they're going to be in. I don't think our battle is over. Though that is, we were 6 seconds behind them when we sort of pitted. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. It depends where they come out. So that's 7 seconds. Yeah, I mean, their strategies worked a little bit better than ours. Stroll is in as well. So we should get Stroll in the pit lane here as Alonso just jerks over to defend against Sebastian Vettel, who may get him with DRS. Sebastian Vettel may well get him here with DRS. But so Alonso does jump Stroll. I'm expecting us to jump Albon, Norris. Yeah, and then I guess we will be behind Leclerc by about 7 seconds, and we can push the tyres if we need to. So all in all, it's not too bad other than Guan Yu Zhou really at the moment. Alonso and Vettel having a bit of a ding-dong battle. Norris still staying out. We are catching him. We're closing that gap to Norris, and he's still got a pit. So we're about 10 seconds off Charles Leclerc. Pierre Gasly up there as well, going to be holding everyone up. He still needs to pit as well. I think when Gasly or Norris come in, we're going to go a little bit full beans and proper send it and see if we can make something happen. And there we go, Gasly and Norris in the pit. So attack, deploy. Let's get this push in and see if we can put a bit of a gap between us and Pierre. Oh, he's going soft. He's gone hard to softs, and so has Lando Norris as well. Okay, so we have got both of them in there. We're going to try and absolutely wang these last few laps while they're doing their out laps, because we need to try and put some gap between us. And it looks like we're doing that. We're 10 seconds off Leclerc, but we've got a 6-second gap back to Bottas. Although finishing on those hard tyres is going to be soft tyres. It's going to be absolutely rapid for Norris and Gasly. They'll probably close that gap to Albon quite quickly. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be very, very interesting.
Happy to let these tyres cool a bit.
So this is where we need Fernando Alonso to put in a really, really potentially the fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far. Is what we need. And it might go to Sebastian Vettel because he's going to have DRS off the back of us. Although Zhou is now catching people. So well done, Guan Yu Zhou. Go on, son. Do it for the team. He's not last. Guan Yu Zhou's not last. He's overtaken Yuki Tsunoda, and he's only 5 seconds off Schumacher. So well done to him. I mean, Ocon's made up loads of places, but we'll see how that. Although we had an extra pit stop as well, didn't we? So let's go that into neutral. I think Alonso has done a good job there of pushing those tyres pretty hard. So let's just sort of use my catchphrase now and see how this unfolds. So not many laps left to go. It's been a pretty simple, easy Grand Prix, really. We're into 7th, which is decent. Still got a 5-second gap back towards Bottas. Vettel's still fighting with us. We're sort of just switching positions at the moment. Zhou is in 19th, closing the gap to Schumacher still. Yeah, 11 laps to go. Both of us are doing okay on tyre wear, so a safety car would make it really interesting. A safety car would really turn this up to 11. So back on lap 46, so what, 8 laps to go-ish. Zhou is up to 18th. He's still going, Guan Yu Zhou, still putting in a really good effort. I think we know that we can easily take Vettel, so we still... Oh, Zhou's lost out to Schumacher. He's dropped back down. We know that we can take Sebastian Vettel quite easily, so I'm happy to sort of sit behind him at the moment and just let this occur as it is, because at the moment it's not... I mean, Bottas has closed the gap, but I think even if he gets involved in this battle, we're going to be totally fine. Bottas on the medium tyre, which will be helping him along for a bit of pace at the moment. But again, we're going to get DRS on the home straight here, which means we'll be right up behind Sebastian Vettel, maybe even overtake him. Bottas will get close in the corners, and then we'll see how it goes as Zhou gets that position back from Mick Schumacher. Yeah, so Bottas has just got past both of us. I'm really not that fussed at the moment. I feel like we've probably got enough charge in that to allow us to push at the end. There's not many laps to go, as you'd imagine. We've got a nice... We should, barring horrific accidents, we should finish quite comfortably in the points here with Fernando Alonso. We've got a 10-second gap back to Pierre Gasly, so I'm pretty confident we're doing well. Again, I wouldn't mind a safety car. I think it would help us out with Fernando Alonso. We can get him onto soft tyres or medium tyres or some sort of faster tyre and push him quite hard with how we've been saving. So yeah, not bad. 5 laps to go. Right, we've got 2 laps to go, or 3 laps to go. He's up to P8, still doing this fight with Vettel and Bottas. The DRS zones are sort of just switching everyone around, which is a little bit irritating. But with 2 laps to go, we can probably start to push a few things here. But I might wait and go 2 laps to go and then do the battery. What I don't want is for Bottas to start pulling away, as it looks like he is doing as we battle against Vettel. Because I do want to get Bottas, and I think... Yeah, as we finish this lap then, let's go full attack with the tyre. We'll push the fuel. And I think just as we start, as we come round here, we're going to deploy and see if we can look to really, really get up close to Bottas and then pull away. I may have done it a lap early because there's 2 laps to go. But I feel like if we can get right in amongst it with Valtteri Bottas, we'll save what fuel, oh, there you go. We're going to go for the move now with Fernando Alonso. Bottas will just hold on. Let's harvest up for here. We'll just try and keep as much battery as we can because we are right on the back of Valtteri Bottas now as we come into this little wiggly section before we get into the next ERS and DRS, or DRS zone I should say, which if we deploy now out of here, this is only lap 51 though. Am I going too early? Am I going too early? I think we might be going a bit too early, you know, but we're going to get the move done. And I think we'll stay in harvest because we're going to put a reasonably good gap between us. And we can slow these guys up. There's no point in being in harvest, is there? Because we've maximised all of our harvest energy in this one now. We should have enough tyres. Joe should also have enough tyres to be able to push these a bit harder. He's got loads of fuel as well, so he can push his fuel. And I'll tell you what, let's just go full send with Joe, see if he can get the fastest lap. That'd be quite nice, wouldn't it? If Joe can stop anyone else getting a fastest lap point, that would be very nice indeed. Right, Alonso out in front, but he's got Bottas for company. Again, so this is going to be, the leaders are on lap 52. So even if we lose a place to Bottas or Vettel on this lap, the next lap I don't mind, because we're going to be in a decent position to attack them next time up. So yeah, let's see what happens here. We'll just go into TV mode for this bit. Coming down the home straight as yeah, all sort of in a line. 2 laps to go. So lap 52 of 53. We are in a decent position is what I would call this at the moment. I'm going to actually ease off the tyres as well. Let's now harvest that. We're going to maximise that harvest again. Because again, I don't mind if they get past us on this lap. It's the next one that we need to be absolutely full gunning it. Especially when you come around this set of corners. This is when you need to be deploying and full gunning it. So at the moment, we've harvested up quite a lot, which will charge our battery up for the next lap reasonably well. Which I'm quite happy about. There you go. Bottas pulls out. Trying to get the move done. And he is going to get the move done. And now it's just a case of staying close by with him. So we're still in front of Vettel, which is good. There you go. So we've done our maximum sort of harvest that we can on that sense. So lap 53 of 53 for the leaders. We currently sit in P8. P7 is what we're going for. We're going to try and get Bottas on the final lap. We have fuel, tyres and ERS to play with. So I feel like we're in a pretty good spot, to be honest. I do feel like we're in a good spot to get this done. Let's go on board with Fernando because it's always good to be on the onboard view. We could, in fact, even go on with Bottas and look from the back. There is the battle between Alonso and Sebastian Vettel. I don't know. I prefer our view. I prefer our view from Alonso. It makes it look like it's all a bit closer. Right, stick with Bottas on this lap. That is totally fine. Like on this DRS, stay here. It's the final lap as we get going. Ideally, don't overtake him now.
Last lap.
Don't overtake him now. Or now. You need to. Yeah, we need to time this right, don't we? We need to time this right for the. Because you can get this. You're going to come round these little wiggly bits, so we'll get as much battery charge in here as we can. It looks like Bottas might be doing that as well. And then we're going to deploy. We're going to push. We're going to go on to attack. And this is where we need to get him on this DRS zone, ERS zone here. Just absolutely full beans it. Full beans it, Fernando. This is the one. This is the one. He's going to defend, but he's not going to be able to defend against the pace of Fernando Alonso. And Fernando Alonso gets past him really, really well. And we're still going to ask Guan Yu Zhou to absolutely push everything. But Fernando Alonso is past Valtteri Bottas. The winner's already crossed the line. This, I don't think, is a DRS zone here. I'm pretty sure it's only the first one that is the DRS zone. So we should be away with Fernando Alonso here. We should be cut and dry. As, yeah, we're leaving Valtteri Bottas for dead. Oh, you thought he was going to run wide. He didn't. But Alonso's kept it in. I think that may have given Valtteri Bottas a little bit of an impudence to get in there. But, yeah, Alonso's done well. We've timed that well again. It looks like we're going to get 7th place. Tyres are overheating, but I don't mind that because it's the final lap. So we're going to come around the final corner. And Alonso's managed it well. He's driven it well. I think we started 8th, finishing 7th. And Fernando Alonso will bring home some more points for Aston Martin. But a disappointing race for Guan Yu Zhou. Didn't really celebrate that new contract very well, did he there? That's a bit unfortunate. So a 7th place finish for Fernando Alonso. Literally just swaps places with Valtteri Bottas. When it's everyone doing a one-stop and there's no real safety cars or incidents like that, it's all a bit of a procession. Look, I mean, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th all finished where they started. Vettel finished where he started in 9th. Us and Bottas swapped positions, which was basically off the start line anyway. Pierre Gasly made up 1 spot. Ricciardo made up 2. Stroll made up 2. 3, sorry, for Ricciardo, 2 for Stroll, 4 for Hulkenberg, and those have come because Guan Yu Zhou caused that incident with Ocon, which meant we lost loads of places. So all in all, a bit of a procession, but it is 6 more points for Fernando Alonso in the Driver Constructors Championship, which takes him Drivers Constructors in the World Driver Championship, which takes him above Pierre Gasly back into 8th. And in the Constructors, we got 2 more points than Alfa Romeo, so we have extended our gap a little bit, which is good. But yeah, Red Bull sort of running away with it, 130 points clear of Ferrari, who themselves are miles ahead of Mercedes. So it's sort of a 1-horse race for first, a 1-horse race for second, and a 1-horse race for third. So all in all, not bad. So the memorabilia refurb has happened, which is lovely. The Tour Centre has been upgraded, which is good. We've got an upcoming board review, which will be totally fine because we're exceeding all expectations, as just happened in the last race as well, which is very, very nice indeed. I think we got a point there. We did for Guan Yu Zhou. So we're going to pop that into poor weather on track, defending. No, let's get everything up to an 81. Cornering, match 3 to corner, accuracy. No, let's go accuracy. Get him on that racing line. I think we'll get all of these to 83, and then we'll get these to 83, and then we'll start working on adaptability and defending, I think, is what we're going to do. Drugovic also has a point as well, so we'll get all of those up to 76 for him. The aim is to get him all up to 80s. Alonso doesn't have one. What about any staff? Nope, 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 and nope. Okay, so that's it really. Next up is the Hungaroring, a very difficult track to overtake at, which is it's a little bit irritating, and it's only in 4 days' time. So we'll be back for that one. Thank you for watching. It feels like a much shorter video, this one. I think that French Grand Prix was a little bit boring. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.